So right now, I think, you got to be looking at stuff that's viable. Potentially, upping exposure if you did some selling, but we also have to be wary of, hey, we can get back to new high territory very quickly, and then we're going to start talking about extended if we start going up too strong. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Okay. And Scott, were you getting aggressive in the market on Friday?
No, I was traveling, so I was in the.
You and me both. Yeah,
I was
out
on a
of pocket
plane
a little bit.
But I saw the last.
We were in Dallas.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
That was fun. Yeah, both of you guys were there.
Yeah,
that's
a lot
great.
of people were wondering why you weren't there.
Scott and I just weren't good enough.
I wasn't invited.
Well, that's never stopped me before, Allie. I just show up.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, I did catch the last few hours because of the time change, which is nice. So I added a little bit of exposure, but I'm not in any hurry here. I don't think the market is in trouble or anything, but I just think there's a better spot as far as risk reward. So I am keeping what I have. I have 3 very core positions, and they're new and volatile, and they provide a lot of punch to my portfolio both ways. So those 3 names, and then I have like Walmart, which is I don't know, I don't even look at it. I'll worry about it later. Somebody did ask about Deere. I got stopped out the day before earnings, not because the earnings were coming. I would have held it through earnings, but it just didn't. It just went down like 14 days in a row. I couldn't take the pain anymore. So I sold it the day before earnings. It tried to gap up on earnings, and then it gave all of that back. So it is building a handle, but that's a lot of volume in a handle. So I'm on the sidelines waiting. I think it needs more. If it's going to go higher, it needs more time. I think that's a lot of. That's, you got each volume bar is higher and higher and higher inside the handle. It actually should look the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for your update on that. Ed, one of our concerns has been narrowing breadth. Have we seen improvement on that front? What groups, and of course, we'll get into this a little bit later since it is Monday and we talk about our industry groups, but what groups do you think we should be focusing on right now that are groups that are setting up?
Well, I mean, there's like chips are doing pretty well today for some of the reasons I said. I mean, I do think that steel and financials and some of those groups that really started struggling last week, they did have nice bounces on Friday. I mean, that doesn't look so good, but if you look at STLD or Nucor or Goldman Sachs, they sort of found support at nice areas. But that's sort of the issue, is like there's a lot of things, a lot of setups, whether it's these other groups or tech stocks where they're right at key levels and you have 1 or 2 good days, and all of a sudden a lot of these stocks are going to look really good. 1 or 2 bad days, they look really, they're going to look really bad. And I know that seems obvious, but a week or so ago, Goldman could afford to have a couple of bad days. It was no big deal, and it was still up there. But when you're around the 50-day lines, when a lot of these stocks are around buy points, and we could go and we could be ready for a nice little run here. And it's nice open here, but so it's nice to see that extension. Housing, some industrials, some of those stocks came down lower, went down below buy points, but they're not down and out. So I think that there could be a breadth to it. Those are a lot of sectors, but we're on the verge of going. I could see a lot of breadth going positively. I could also see just a bad day or two, and all of a sudden we start really worrying about the rally. So
Well, that's why we always say you have to be ready for anything. You can't just be convinced that something is going to happen because the opposite could very well happen. So you really have to be ready for any situation in this market and be flexible and open-minded. Those are things that we always like to lean back on and say. But let's go on over, Justin, to AYI, Acuity Brands, a stock that you wanted to talk about, pulling back in to a lot of moving averages that converged and a nice bump higher on Friday, up 2%.
Yeah, so I mean, you see that pattern recognition kind of recognized a double bottom structure, and it was starting to make its way up the right hand side, and then it was pulling back a little bit. We had a nice nice reversal, upside reversal on Friday. Now, the thing that I didn't like was how the volume, the volume just looked superbly low. But this was a problem I was seeing in a lot of stocks. There just didn't seem to be volume. On the plus side, the negative volume never got really high. It was very mild. So that's something that I'm kind of looking at today. Hey, can this put some volume on the board today? We'll see. So it looks like maybe it hadn't opened up. I think this is a stock on the New York Stock Exchange, and sometimes they take a little bit longer to open up. So we'll see what it looks like on the open.
Oh, okay, great. So one to keep tabs on there in the building construction products group, ranked 30 out of 197 at this time. And Scott, ticker ZIM. We got earnings last week, so earnings are out of the way. And we were saying that at that time that, it would, instead of buying it here, maybe see if it can pull back a little bit. In your view, did it pull back enough? And now with this renewed strength, do you feel like it's actionable at these levels?
Yeah, if you're aggressive, you could have bought it yesterday, like me. It's what, one
Yesterday,
day?
Friday.
Oh, yes.
We knew
yes,
we knew what
Friday.
you meant.
It's
Scott
like
does his best trading on Sunday.
Yeah, I've yet to lose on a Sunday. Except no, I take that back. One time I was short a stock that got bought out on a Sunday, so I didn't lose till Monday, but I was certain to lose on Monday. I think it looks fine. It's the first base. I know you had the IPO base before, but I don't think you really count that in the stages. I don't know. I don't know if we do or not. I don't think so.
Looks like we don't.
Stage one again, right? Yeah. And in MarketSmith, in the column headers, it has a dash for stages. I guess that would be something that we could ask Mike Webster about when we have him on as a guest someday in the distant
Never
future.
know.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the first base. You have great earnings and sales, good price action. It's the group is, I guess, cyclical for lack of better words, but I've seen this group do really well before. Dry Ships was an incredible leader in like the 04, 05, 06 area. I don't remember exactly, but any group can go up a lot. If you've been in the game long enough, you'll know that, gosh, anything can happen. So I like it. I know, Ed, talk about what you told me this morning, if you could, please.
They have a $2 special dividend that is in a couple of days. So you're likely to see the stock drop on that, just because everybody gets their $2, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's no free lunch, so to speak. So if the stock's 50, just to make it easy, it's going to open the next day at 48, right? If you get $2 in cash into your account, the market's going to adjust the price, at least initially, so if you're in it and it gaps down $2, you'll know why.
So are you interested in adding ZIM to your portfolio, Scott?
I own it already.
You do own it already. Okay.
Yeah, but just the starting position, again,
So
sometimes on this show, the show is both good and bad. It keeps me in stocks that are going up that I might sell. But I've missed some stocks because it's hard to manage both.
It is.
So it's up 4% already. I'm right now, I'm at do nothing. If I didn't own it, I guess I would use, and I really wanted to own it, I would use the peak. What's that, like 3 trading days ago? Hopefully it stays below that. But they never do. They never build the handle when you want them to. But that to me, that's your buy point, your more traditional buy point, especially if it just can stay here for a couple more days.
Okay, great. And Ed, are there any headlines that we should be aware of now hitting the market?
And thanks for queuing me up there. It appears that the Pfizer and BioNTech vaccine has won full approval from the FDA. This was expected. That's why these stocks were moving in the pre-market. Let's
go ahead and look at BioNTech then. Can you do anything with it here?
I mean, it's bouncing off the 21-day line, but it just seems like I'm not a big fan of that. And this is so wild. I would not. I mean, but I could certainly imagine this thing flying. I don't have anything negative to say about it. But that isn't really my style. I feel like that would be too steep and too aggressive, especially now it's up 10% from the 21-day line. I don't know. That seems to me that's maybe somebody else would feel differently. That's just not how